Now, the question is that you talk about the fact that MPP and this administration have messed the country up, and you raise issues that cannot be backed by any evidence. You talk about the fact that somebody spoke to a mother who said that the daughter completed SHS and she's sitting down there. Are you telling me that the mother also went ahead to confirm that the person was not going to continue education? Are you saying that the person said the person had no other future plans? I mean, you cannot make those analyses and cite those examples. What the woman is excited about was that hitherto she would have paid for all the expenses covering the child's education. But this time around, the government is footing those bills. And those are the things that makes her excited. During President Mohammed's era and previous governments, before the introduction of free education, we were all paying school fees. People pay school fees. You talk about people are spending 70% more on the education of their wards now than previously. How possible? When you are not paying school fees. When your children are going to school, you expect that you will not organize for them some provisions and some few things that will go to school. We won't organize those things for our kids. But the issue is that people are excited about the free education because the financial difficulty that it was putting parents in. People will go to school and they will be asked to go home for months. People will be beaten for not paying their school fees. Those are hardship and challenges that government has erased from parents, and those difficulties are no longer with parents. People were paying examination fees, and if you haven't paid the examination fees, you will not be allowed to write exams. All these things is being taken care of by the government. So I want you to appreciate the fact that something.
Can I ask you a question? If a parent is not able to provide the prospectus, would the kid be admitted to school?
If the parent is not able to provide a prospectus.
First of all, there is a prospectus approved now. Now, there's a prospectus approved by government.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we wanted to make things uniform.
So is that correct?
We had masters when other people.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. If a parent is not able to provide what is in the prospectus, would the kid go to school?
Of course. Why not?
How?
Why would the child go to school?
If you're unable to provide a prospectus,
you know that the things on the prospectus you're talking about, maybe having your own something you put your career, you put your clothes in. You're talking about having some few soap here and there. People go to school and they don't carry all of them at a time, and parents send them. I know a staff of mine who child went to school and they've been sending them as and when. They did not demand everything from the child at the same time. So people are going to school without having everything together.
So finance is no longer a barrier.
There will be minimal cost that parents would have to take care of. Like every child going to school, a parent will make sure that at least some soap, sponge, towels, and few things will be organized for the child. But those things are things that even if the child is in the house, you provide for your own child.
Is that how the free SHS started? Is that how it started? In the 2017-2018 academic year, is that how it started?
That's what?
With this prospectus,
yeah.
that from 2017-2018, parents were expected to provide all the things in the prospectus. Is that how the program started?
Of course, people were providing all those things. No, but the point is that it was not uniform.
You're not answering my question.
What has been done, I mean, let's take this discussion.
Math set and all that, where parents providing that when the program started.
Before this program started, every normal child that goes to school, beyond you paying your school fees, paying all those bills that needed to be paid, you would have to make sure that you go with your mathematical set, calculator, and other few things that you require to study. And our parents were providing them for us. Now, what government has done is taking care of your school fees and other bills and examination fees and other things that you have to pay, including feeding fee. Government is taking care of that. That does not mean that you, as a parent, you will not provide minimal support to your child. Because if there hadn't been free education, you will provide all those things, inclusive of school fees and other things. So we should agree and admit that the school fees itself was meant, because indeed If not for free education, parents will be paying close to 5,000 Ghana cedis a semester for their boys to go to school.
But
that cost is borne by the government.
the EduWatch analysis shows that per what we describe, what government takes care of and what parents take care of, parents are contributing 77%, government is contributing 23%.
What is the parents' contribution? In what sense? Is it a thing they organize?
I can pull the document out.
Because
they've looked at what it costs, what you have to go through.
Ren, you see, I don't know the kind of research they did, and I do not have the parameters
You've not read
and the
it.
numbers. I've not read them. But what I want to say is that, Randy, knowing you, if your child is going to school, the kind of things you mobilize for your child to go to school will be different from an average person somewhere in my hometown.
Yeah, so these things are...
if you go and use EduWatch, who come and talk to perhaps Dr. Randiabe.
No, you're wrong.
No, I'm just trying to make analysis
You're
here.
wrong.
Talk to Dr. Randiabe, who is capable and is able and is ready to provide all kinds. I know people who are ready to buy, or visiting days, go and buy Kimpiski and all kind of things to go and give to their children at schools. They're ready to go extra. Yeah. But the point is that when you do some of this analysis, you are trying to belittle the effort of the government. And you are trying to undermine what is being done.
Because we situate...
Because there will be challenges.
No, Richard. Because we situate everything in politics. Or partisanship, rather. Yeah. So we don't seem to appreciate some of these things. The point is simple. If you bring a policy up, and the thrust of the policy is that, look, research shows that financing is a barrier to accessing education. We want to bring in a policy that will take away financing as a barrier. At every point in time, you need to review to find out whether indeed
policy is addressing
the challenge. So, for example, when I see data that suggests that 194,000 people didn't pick up their places in the SHS, the first thing I ask myself is, have we bothered to find out why? What it means is that if you have like 194,000, it's telling you that there could be some issues. Are we dealing with it now? Two. If 77% of the cost today is being borne.
What constitutes that 77%?
I will try and pull out.
That would make the discussion more richer.
No, I'm just saying because we have done that here.
No, I understand.
Richard, we have done that here before. I have put Kofi Asare of EduWatch here. We have discussed it. Yes. I just cannot recollect every single. But it's available.
I'm not doubting you.
So, but the point I'm just making is that
the point
I'm just making is that even that 77%, it could be a factor of the rise in
and I agree that.
So all I am saying, you don't get the point I'm making. All I'm saying is that all I am saying is that if we are bringing a policy to remove financing as a bottleneck to accessing, and the data is showing that it's becoming more and more expensive as far as parents are concerned, we ought to be interrogating it and be realizing that, look, maybe there are some other things that are now, you remember early days, headmasters and others were sanctioned.
Yeah.
We stopped PTA. We said no, nothing, they should not collect PTA dues. Because if somebody is unable to pay PTA and the person is denied access to education, what it means is that a government policy is being denied. As we speak today, are we allowing the PTA dues or not? We have allowed it. So we have quietly, in silence or the blind side of everybody, reviewed the thing.
Doc, let me say something.
And these are things that we need to. It is not a partisan thing.
No, I agree.
These are things that we need to.
My discussion is devoid of politics. No. What I'm trying to talk about is that. Give me a minute. You see, when you ask children to go to school, so long as they are moving from one point to the other, there will be a cost implication, even transportation.
Yes.
Government will not come to your house and pick a taxi or drive you from your house to the school. So there will be a cost implication. Obviously, you need a bag to put your things in. You need sponge, you need other basic things. Even shito and all those things will be prepared for kids going to school. Soap and all kinds of stuff. Those are things that will happen. There's another element that people need to appreciate. when we are talking about the SHS, sometimes we fail to take into consideration the addition of free TVET. So when people see that these are the numbers going to free SHS, they do not also look at which numbers went into the free TVET and simulate the number to know those who completed, how many of them have been able to continue their education. The government interest is to allow people to go to school without those hindrances, those financial hindrances at the school level. What individual parents would want to do for their kids would differ. But no matter the situation, there will be some cost element. I would doubt any research that would suggest, unless I see those empirical evidence that suggests that aside the school fees, the examination fees, the books which are being provided for by the government, government giving them tablets, government is paying for their food, their feeding, and all these things are being taken care of by the government. Beyond those costs, there's additional costs that they have to pay for. I want to know where those costs came from. Is it the people bagging food for their kids to go to school? Is it the kind of bag, somebody buying Louis Vuitton bag for their child to put their clothes in it to go to school? Or somebody, what kind of costs are they? I'm not saying they will not take on any cost, but I would find it difficult to believe that there's a 70%. I know the major challenge, because when I went to senior school, though, there was a friend of mine who was very intelligent. But because of the element of school fees, this guy decided to go to Libya because he wanted to travel. He was always beaten, he was always driven out of class. He died on the desert. So I'm somebody who appreciates the introduction of free education.
194,000 people.
That's something that
they didn't pick up the places to go to secondary school.
So that's what I'm saying, that number that you are seeing, yes. Have they factored in those who went into free TVET?
Oh yes.
No,
but that's part of admission.
Yes.
It will indicate
I need to know.
Are you saying that?
I'm asking those questions.
Yes.
And because I need to know.
Yes.
What you said, secondary school.
When we say we use the
because
we use the SHS as a generic.
I agree with you.
Everybody.
But some people don't do that. Some people only focus on this and not include.
I am telling you.
So I will need to understand that. The second point is that nobody will say that the entire individuals who come through the SHS, JSS, will go through SSS. There will be others who will go to private institutions.
I don't understand what you're saying.
There will be others who will go to private secondary schools. They are private secondary schools.
Okay.
So did you factor that into the equation? There will be others who will travel beyond the shores of this country to go to school elsewhere. Did you factor those numbers into the equation? There will be others who will prefer to go through some sort of other things. Others, some of them would even die along.
But we have, you see, fortunately, when we are doing the numbers, we sometimes use even WASI.
Yes. And
that is written by both public and private students. So whether people went to private secondary or went to public secondary, when we have the number of people who are sitting for WASI, it includes both. So we know. Yes.
So, but what I'm saying is that when the people complete school, there are others who go through other channels. So you need to be sure that...
But that has always been the case.
Yes, I know. But because you are alarmed by 100,000 figure, that's what I'm saying. That we need to look beyond those who are going through the...
We're saying that, for example, enrollment, we were saying that prior to this, X number of children were not accessing secondary education.
Yeah.
In those numbers that we're talking about, all the possibilities you're talking about existed.
Exactly.
However...
And more.
I'm saying, however, that is what we use.
Yes.
That X number of people didn't access secondary education, or Y number access secondary education. There could be a plethora of reasons why.
I agree with you.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that we need to do a broader and expansive.
So have we done that? Have we done that to find? That's what
I'm sure the education ministry can provide these numbers. They can give us better and further particulars on this.
Yeah, but when such things are done, they are not for the shelves. It is a public policy.
I agree with you.
You are a researcher. You understand what
I
I'm
agree
saying.
with you that it ought to be made known to the public.
That
but
is
I mean,
if there's
going
any
forward,
such thing, yeah.
because I know that you have a very good relationship with the education minister and the people at the education ministry, I'll pray that you talk to them about these numbers and also understand what are their findings in terms of that.
All right.
But for me, what I would say is that one of the best things that has ever happened to this country and the Ghanaian child is the free education. Because hitherto people, even those the small Northern scholarship that government was supposed to pay for. Government during the era of the President Mahama, they could not pay, and for months they'll be in the house. Months.